I've got some troubling news about England's royal family.
There were not many people who understood just how broad his interests were and how supportive he was of an astonishingly wide range.
For decades, Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth II were seen as the ideal royal couple. However, in his later years, Philip chose to live apart from the Queen. Now, their daughter, Princess Anne, is revealing the true reasons behind this surprising split, with support from her brothers, Prince Charles and Andrew. So why did Philip spend his final years away from the Queen? How did they keep up the appearance of a perfect marriage despite private struggles? Join us as we unravel Philip's decision to live away from the Queen. The surprising reason. In 2017, at the remarkable age of 96, Prince Philip officially stepped back from his royal duties, bringing an extraordinary chapter of British history to a close. After decades of tireless public service, he longed for a quieter, more private life, away from the constant demands and attention of royal work. To fulfill this wish, he moved to Wood Farm, a small and charming cottage nestled on the Sandringham estate. Prince Charles would occasionally visit him there, but for the most part, Philip spent his final years away from the public eye, and notably, living separately from Queen Elizabeth. People speculated endlessly about why he made this choice, but Princess Anne provided clarity, explaining the reasons behind her father's decision. Reports suggest that moving to Wood Farm was all about Philip's desire for a peaceful, simple life. He had always loved the countryside, and the cozy cottage, surrounded by wide open fields and the familiar landscapes of Sandringham, gave him a deep sense of comfort and belonging. In this serene setting, he could enjoy the hobbies he loved most, painting, reading, and spending time outdoors, without the constant pressures, formalities, and strict rules of Buckingham Palace. The move was not sudden. It followed private conversations within the royal family to ensure that Philip's wishes were fully respected. Princess Anne revealed that both parents agreed the arrangement would allow them to live comfortably on their own terms. This setup gave Philip the independence he treasured while enabling the Queen to continue her royal duties without disruption. Anne emphasized that the discussions within the family showed the move to Wood Farm was a practical and thoughtful solution. Both parents understood their distinct roles in the monarchy, and the decision to live apart flowed naturally from that understanding. Philip had always been a free spirit who valued independence, and the family wanted to support that. Importantly, Anne made it clear that this arrangement was not a sign of marital problems. Instead, it was a mutual decision designed to let both live more comfortably. The Queen at Buckingham Palace carrying out her duties, and Philip at Wood Farm enjoying a relaxed personal lifestyle far from strict royal protocol. Some palace insiders hinted that security factors may have influenced Philip's decision. The presence of the Queen's Guard at Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle, with its strict routines and rules, had become tiring for him. Over time, these formalities began to feel intrusive, and the freedom of Wood Farm offered a welcome escape. It highlighted a man seeking a life less constrained, a life in which he could enjoy his remaining years on his own terms. Different perspectives exist. Some claim Philip chose to leave entirely on his own, while others suggest that the strict security arrangements at royal residences played a role. Princess Anne offered a balanced view, noting that the move was ultimately about what her father preferred. She downplayed any notion of conflict, making it clear that the separation was not about escaping palace rules or the Queen's guards, but about allowing Philip to spend his final years in a way that suited him best. How did Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip relationship start? Let's find out. Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip's bond. Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip shared a remarkable bond that lasted 73 years. Their marriage remained strong despite the many challenges of a changing world and the demanding life of royalty, creating the image of a steady and perfect partnership. Together, they became one of the most famous couples in modern history. Yet, as their daughter Princess Anne recently revealed, there were aspects of their relationship that the public never saw, showing the private struggles behind their seemingly flawless marriage. Elizabeth and Philip's love story began long before they fully understood the responsibilities that awaited them. They first met in 1934 at the wedding of Philip's cousin, Princess Marina of Greece, to Elizabeth's uncle, the Duke of Kent. But it was 5 years later, in 1939, when Elizabeth was 13, that she truly noticed Philip. During a visit to the Royal Naval College in Dartmouth, where Philip was training as a cadet, his lively and confident personality caught the young princess's attention. One memorable moment reportedly saw Philip leaping over tennis nets, showing off and leaving a lasting impression on Elizabeth. Even though their duties and locations often kept them apart, they stayed close through letters. Philip, who was 5 years older than Elizabeth, matched her lively and curious nature. Even as a young man, he was known for his sharp sense of humor and honest, straightforward character, qualities that Elizabeth found refreshing and engaging. Their path to love was not without challenges. Philip, born into Greek and Danish royalty, had a difficult childhood. He had to leave Greece at a young age and grew up far from the comforts of royal life. Many in the British royal family and government worried that he was not a suitable match for the future queen, as he had neither wealth nor strong ties to a stable country. Despite these doubts, Elizabeth remained determined. In 1946, Philip proposed, and she happily accepted. Their engagement was kept secret until after Elizabeth's 21st birthday. Sources close to the family said Elizabeth was firm in her choice, devoted to Philip even in the face of concerns. Their engagement marked the beginning of a love story that would capture the public's imagination. On the 20th of November 1947, Elizabeth and Philip were married in a magnificent ceremony at Westminster Abbey. Their wedding celebrated their love and lifted the spirits of a nation still recovering from the hardships of World War II. It was also the first royal wedding to be televised, watched by millions around the world, making it a historic event. Philip gave up his Greek and Danish royal titles to become the Duke of Edinburgh and took the English version of his family name, Mountbatten. Their wedding was a grand celebration filled with ceremony and tradition, symbolizing hope and stability for a country still healing from the war. But behind the glamour, Philip faced the challenge of adjusting to life in the public eye. While Elizabeth already understood the expectations of royal life, Philip had to learn on the job. Palace insiders say that the early years of their marriage were a mix of joy and strain, as Philip adapted to his new role while supporting Elizabeth in her duties. But what were the first years of their marriage really like? Let's take a closer look. Early years of marriage. In the early years of Elizabeth and Philip's marriage, their life was full of change and adjustment. From 1949 to 1951, they enjoyed a peaceful time living in Malta, where Philip served in the Royal Navy and quickly rose through the ranks. A year later, in 1950, they welcomed their first son, Charles, and soon after, their daughter, Anne. During this time, the couple seemed to genuinely enjoy a break from the constant pressures of royal life. These years gave them a taste of ordinary life, which they both treasured. Their days were filled with lively dances, elegant dinners, and fun outings, moments where they could relax and just be themselves, away from public attention. Everything changed suddenly in 1952 when Elizabeth's father, King George VI, passed away. The young princess became queen almost overnight, taking on enormous responsibilities that would shape the rest of her life. Philip also had to adjust again, now as the husband of the reigning monarch. This shift altered the balance of their relationship as Philip tried to balance his personal ambitions and sense of self with his new role as royal consort, a position with very few precedents and unclear expectations. Despite these challenges, Philip and Elizabeth became a symbol of marital strength. they showed a united front to the world, demonstrating resilience, commitment, and a deep bond as they navigated the complex demands of royal life together. Behind the grandeur of the palace, their marriage was far from a simple fairy tale. While their love was real, both were strong-willed and had very different personalities and ideas about royal duties. Philip was bold and sometimes rebellious, often bending or ignoring royal rules. This occasionally clashed with Elizabeth, who was more reserved and traditional. While they mostly kept disagreements private, conflicts sometimes appeared in public, creating moments of tension. Insiders noted that Philip's restlessness and desire for a larger role in royal duties often led to lively debates between the couple. Yet Elizabeth valued his honesty and independence, knowing he would never simply agree just to keep the peace. Their relationship was a careful balance of love, respect, and occasional disagreements, with both aware that their private lives often came second to public duty. Their daughter, Princess Anne, observed this complex relationship closely. She has often described her childhood as shaped by her father's unique parenting style and her mother's dedication to royal responsibilities. Anne recalls many moments of warmth and humor shared between her parents, but also saw the challenges their duties brought. She described Philip as a commanding figure who could be strict and intimidating, yet admired his dedication and loyalty, qualities she also saw in her mother. Anne noted the deep respect between her parents, even when they disagreed. She remembers family evenings where Philip's laughter filled the halls while the Queen's calm and steady presence brought balance and stability. Like many royal children, Anne was mainly cared for by nannies and governesses, but her parents' influence was clear. She understood the pressures that tested their relationship, but also witnessed the love that helped them endure difficult times. What truly happened in those later years, and what led them to live apart? Let's explore the events that might reveal the answers. Complicated royal union. The marriage of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip lasted for decades, all under the watchful eyes of the public and the constant pressures of royal life. To most people, they often appeared strong, united, and unshakable. Yet, the reality behind the palace walls was more complicated. The demands of royal duty sometimes weighed heavily on their relationship. Princess Anne, their only daughter, has shared how her parents' responsibilities affected them in unexpected ways. Carrying the crown was no small task, and Queen Elizabeth often had to manage duties that went far beyond her own family. For Prince Philip, life as a royal consort was challenging because no clear example existed before him. He held no formal power beyond his title, Duke of Edinburgh, and the traditions of the monarchy offered little guidance. This left him to figure out his own place within strict expectations. During public appearances, he often had to walk a few steps behind the Queen, a sign of respect that was not easy for a man who valued independence. Life as a royal, even with its privileges, required strict rules, constant attention, and a steady commitment to duty. Philip, accustomed to the freedom of being a naval officer, found royal life frustrating. Palace insiders say he could offer advice, but had little real influence, leaving him with minimal say in important decisions. This lack of control often caused tension at home. Known for his strong personality and straightforward way of speaking, Philip found it difficult to accept being second to the Queen. While he publicly supported her, privately, he struggled with the limits of his role. He often felt trapped by royal rules and longed for a purpose that the strict structure of the monarchy could not fully satisfy. Princess Anne remembers her father as a restless man who needed activity and disliked sitting idle. These traits were often constrained by royal duties. She recalls that while Philip was deeply loyal to the crown, balancing that loyalty with his desire for independence was a constant challenge. Despite his devotion to his family and the monarchy, he faced an ongoing inner conflict between personal freedom and the expectations of his position. In the 1950s, rumors began to circulate about a possible affair between Philip and a famous Russian ballerina, often named as Galina Ulanova. She was celebrated in the Soviet Union for her extraordinary talent and beauty. Though no solid proof of an affair exists, the rumors created widespread gossip. Reports suggested that this alleged relationship put stress on Elizabeth and Philip's marriage. Some insiders even hinted that the government may have tried to keep the story quiet, worried that it could harm the monarchy's image, particularly during tense political relations with the Soviet Union. A British royal linked to a Russian dancer was seen as a potential security concern, adding another layer of pressure. Whether true or not, the rumors left a mark on the marriage and continue to fascinate historians and royal watchers. Despite these challenges, Elizabeth and Philip worked hard to maintain the appearance of unity. One insider noted that a particular incident caused the Queen deep hurt, but her sense of duty outweighed personal feelings. She chose to stay silent in public, shaping how she handled private matters under scrutiny. Prince Andrew, their second son, frequently defended his father, denying allegations of infidelity and describing Philip as a devoted family man. Yet, the rumors lingered, revealing the tension between public perception and private reality. Some believed the rumors were false, while others thought they reflected Philip's wish for a life beyond royal obligations. The real impact of these rumors on their marriage is hard to measure, but observers noticed that the couple, though devoted, faced real challenges because of royal life and its sacrifices. Queen Elizabeth was skilled at hiding emotions, but the stress and uncertainty surrounding the rumors left their mark. Instead of letting these pressures break them apart, the couple appeared to endure them together. Over time, Elizabeth and Philip reportedly reached a quiet understanding. They chose to focus on their shared dedication to the crown, rather than letting conflicts dominate their lives. Behind their public image, their marriage was complex, shaped by personal struggles and the demands of duty. While the rumors of Philip's affair remain unconfirmed, they reveal the fragility and tension beneath the polished surface. Through their children's memories, we see a marriage that, despite imperfections, endured decades of change and challenge. Princess Anne's reflections tell a story of love, loyalty, and steadfast commitment to duty, offering a rare glimpse into the delicate balance between public role and private life in a royal partnership. But is this really what happened? Let's uncover the truth. Final chapter of a royal romance. When the COVID-19 pandemic began spreading worldwide in early 2020, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip chose to stay together at Windsor Castle. During the lockdown, they spent their days in each other's company, away from the outside world. This unexpected time together became a special gift, giving them a chance to enjoy one another's presence in the later years of their lives. For their children, it was a rare and touching moment to see their parents grow close again. But there was more to why Prince Philip had chosen to live apart in his final years. Princess Anne revealed that Philip's decision to stay at Wood Farm away from the Queen came from several reasons. Palace insiders said Philip valued his independence, and tensions with the Queen's staff also played a role. At first, their children believed the Queen and Philip had simply agreed on this arrangement. Later, they realized there could have been deeper reasons behind it. For years, rumors had circulated about a possible affair Philip had with a Russian ballerina in the 1950s. Although nothing was ever proven, some thought his move to Wood Farm might not have been entirely his own choice. Certain sources suggested the Queen's staff quietly encouraged him to live separately, adding a layer of mystery to his final months. Despite these complications, Princess Anne saw a deep reconnection between her parents during the lockdown. She remembered quiet moments when they would sit together, reflecting on their long life together. Even as his health declined, Philip kept his sharp wit and sense of humor, comforting the Queen as they faced life's final stages. Princess Anne noted that while her parents rarely spoke about their time apart, their mutual respect was clear. Their bond, she said, was stronger than words, and she admired the grace with which they accepted each other's choices. When Prince Philip passed away, it was a major loss for the family and marked the end of an era.
Queen Elizabeth's 97-year-old husband, Prince Philip, is said to be doing fine this morning after a car crash where he was at the wheel. His SUV flipped, but he walked away without serious injury.
Prince Andrew described the moment as filled with sorrow, yet also with pride. He remembered his father's unwavering spirit and the dignity with which he faced life's challenges. Princess Anne, who was especially close to her father, spoke emotionally about their final goodbye. She recalled that during their last conversation, Philip clearly expressed his wishes, asking her not to mourn him, but to celebrate the life he had lived. This showed a man who, even while living apart from his wife, remained deeply connected to his family and their shared legacy. The physical distance that marked Philip's later years made his passing bittersweet for the Queen and their children. Yet it also highlighted the special nature of their relationship, a bond that endured time, distance, and public scrutiny. The Queen, though known for her strength and resilience, reportedly felt a profound sense of loss during her final farewell. Sources close to the royal family said she found comfort knowing Philip had lived life according to his own wishes. Their reunion during the pandemic brought bittersweet joy, showing their children the complex and layered nature of their relationship. Princess Anne's memories of her father's last wishes added a heartfelt note to this chapter of their story. She said Philip wanted the family to remember him not only as a devoted husband, but also as a man who valued his independence and chose his own path. Prince Charles also paid tribute to his father, saying Philip had given the last 70 years of remarkable devotion to the Queen, the royal family, the country, and the entire Commonwealth. He admired his father's dedication and astonishing energy in supporting his mother throughout his life. The story of why Prince Philip and the Queen did not live together in his final years is woven from love, loyalty, and the pressures of life in the spotlight. Philip was often seen as charming, yet questions remain about whether he may have strayed, including rumors of a relationship with a Russian ballerina or other women. Their children described him as a man who treasured his independence while remaining devoted to his family. To the public, his choices remain a complex and intriguing part of his legacy. But did he truly betray the Queen? And why is this story resurfacing after so many years? Let's find out the real story. Prince Philip, infidelity rumors. Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, shared a remarkable marriage with Queen Elizabeth II that lasted more than 70 years. Their long life together was filled with public attention, royal responsibilities, and personal challenges, creating a partnership that captivated the world. Philip was often described as a charming and magnetic man, someone who seemed to have a natural way with women. Over the decades, stories and gossip about his romantic life circulated widely, but there has never been solid proof that he was unfaithful. Still, the rumors persisted, fueled by the allure of his personality, his status as a royal, and the glamour that surrounded his life. One of the women most often linked to Prince Philip was the stage actress Pat Kirkwood. Kirkwood was a dazzling performer during the 1930s and 1940s, admired not only for her talent, but also for her striking beauty. The famous critic Kenneth Tynan once called her legs the eighth wonder of the world, a phrase that captured the fascination she inspired. Philip and Kirkwood reportedly met on 7 occasions, though Kirkwood always denied any romantic or sexual connection. Despite her repeated denials, the gossip continued so strongly that she appealed to Philip and the royal family to publicly dismiss the rumors. Philip, however, chose to remain silent, allowing the whispers to circulate without comment. Michael Thornton, a close friend of Kirkwood, recalled that Philip was frustrated by the persistent rumors. Philip reportedly said, "Short of starting libel proceedings, there is absolutely nothing to be done." He complained that these false claims were the bane of our existence, highlighting how intrusive gossip could be. Kirkwood herself reflected on the pressures faced by women at the time, telling a journalist, "A lady is not normally expected to defend her honor. It is the gentleman who should do that. I would have had a happier and easier life if Prince Philip, instead of coming uninvited to my dressing room, had gone home to his pregnant wife on the night in question." Her words illustrate the intense scrutiny women faced, even when they were innocent, and the fine line between privacy and public curiosity that came with fame. Kirkwood was far from the only woman rumored to have had a connection with Philip. Other names that surfaced over the years included television host Katie Boyle, singer Hélène Corday, actress Merle Oberon, author Daphne du Maurier, Princess Alexandra, Queen Elizabeth's cousin, and the Duchess of Abercorn. The Duchess of Abercorn described her relationship with Philip as a passionate friendship, but firmly stated it never became physical. When asked whether she thought Philip had affairs with any of his female friends, she replied, "I doubt it very much. No, I'm sure not. But he's a human being. Who knows? I don't. Unless you are in the room with a lighted candle. Who knows?" This remark captures the uncertainty and fascination that always surrounded Philip, a man whose private life was constantly under the public eye. Philip was also rumored to have had a particularly close friendship with Penelope Penny Knatchbull, the Countess Mountbatten of Burma. Penny was a close family friend, married to Norton Knatchbull, the grandson of Philip's uncle, Louis Mountbatten. While there was never confirmation of a romantic affair, the closeness of their friendship was widely noted. Penny was one of only 30 people invited to Philip's private funeral in April 2021, showing how significant their bond remained. Their relationship even appears in the 5th season of the Netflix series The Crown, showing that the public's fascination with Philip's personal life continues to this day. Biographers have not avoided discussing these rumors. In her 2011 book, Elizabeth II, Her Life in Our Times, Sarah Bradford stated bluntly that Philip had multiple affairs, writing, "The Duke of Edinburgh has had affairs, full-blown affairs, and more than one. He has affairs, and the Queen accepts them. I think she thinks that's how men are." Bradford also suggested that Philip's taste in women was specific. He's never been one for chasing actresses. His interests are quite different. The women he goes for are always younger than him, usually beautiful and highly aristocratic. Whether or not these claims are entirely accurate, they reflect the lasting curiosity about Philip's private life and the intense attention faced by anyone in the royal circle. The royal lifestyle itself has historically allowed certain freedoms, particularly regarding romantic relationships. For centuries, kings, princes, dukes, and their partners have maintained discreet relationships without public backlash. In 2016, a British documentary titled Inside Buckingham Palace reported that early in his marriage to Queen Elizabeth II, the royal family had been worried about rumors of Philip's infidelity. The household was very conscious of appearances, often prioritizing the image of stability over revealing private truths. As gossip about Philip spread, royal aides grew concerned. While they denied these allegations and found no solid evidence, the gossip continued to circulate, the documentary noted. Something had to be done. In 1956, the Queen was advised to send Philip on a long overseas tour to keep him out of potential trouble. Despite the rumors, many of Philip's closest friends and associates defended his loyalty. Former Palace Press Secretary Dickie Arbiter once said, "He has always enjoyed window shopping. but he never made a purchase, humorously suggesting that while Philip admired women, he did not act on those feelings. So, what do you think about this shocking revelation of why Prince Philip didn't live with the Queen? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.